Hey everybody, welcome back to Nude Hippo, your Chicago show. I'm Bridget Houlihan alongside
Lossano, how you doing? And I saw this written on the website somewhere. This is chicagotelevision.com. It says, Rich Koz, like those pioneers of Chicago television, has continued the tradition of offering quality and original programming from a local station. And that is so true.
Very true.
If only we could get him on this show. Oh, wait a minute. Rich!
Hey, how are you?
How you doing? Welcome to Nude Hippo.
The only part missing from that was at an affordable price.
Yes.
Would have been perfect.
Yeah. Now, for people at home, first of all, you were at one time son of Svengoolie. Now
Yes.
you're just Svengoolie.
Yes, I was allowed by the original Svengoolie, Jerry G. Bishop, to be all grown up, and he said I could just be Svengoolie.
Which he did Svengoolie many, many years ago.
Around 1970 through 73.
Yeah, yeah. And now you're doing what I consider the first time you're playing yourself. Is this correct? With this Stooge-a-palooza?
Well, no, actually. Back in, I think it was 89.
Oh, you're talking about the Koz Zone?
Yeah, I did the Koz Zone,
Okay.
and I was myself and other characters.
Well, you were pirate, and when it first started, it was many different variations of this. I remember, this was over on WFLD, there would be like a Cosby commercial come on, and then it'll become all staticky, and then it'll be you're going, I'm not ready yet, and then it'll disappear, and people were calling in and complaining.
Yeah, in fact, somebody at the FCC actually called the station and talked to the chief engineer and said, hey, you want us to send a truck out there? So he was doing that. And when it was explained to him that it was just a little promotional thing, he was not real pleased about it.
Now that was what was that? Now this is memory. Saturday nights that was on, or
started out on Friday nights
Friday
and
nights.
then moved to Saturday.
Right, and it started off where you were doing like B movies, right? Is that
Yeah,
how it was? And then it segued into doing a Three Stooges.
Why, yes, that's correct.
And then somehow it became kids shows.
Yeah, that was at the time that Fox sent out a memo to all their stations that they were going to start their kids network.
Okay.
And they said, and it must be hosted by someone. So they said, well, he's here.
And that's where I remember you from, because I would come home from school and I'd watch it. So.
Did you watch the worst cartoon ever, Peter Pan and the Pirates?
Possibly.
It was
we used to come home right from school and you'd turn on the Koz Zone on Fox 32,
Oh,
and
cool.
it was like, that was like what you did.
Exactly.
So-
Well, and this one show, Peter Pan and the Pirates, was done strictly for spite by the Fox people to try to spite Disney.
Oh, you're
And look how well it worked.
Now to show you the age difference, I remember coming home from school and watching Son of Svengoolie on Fox.
Yeah,
So you can see
that
how much
right
of a
over
big
my
gap
head.
there is.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember coming home from school and listening to the radio. So, there's a big, big gap.
Now, both times when you were kind of let go from the station was because there was new owners involved. They wanted to change things out. And now that you're at Channel 26, you're doing exactly what I think local television is supposed to be all about.
Oh, well, thanks.
Because we got all this syndicated stuff like She Spies, which I do love. But,
Oh, sure.
in fact, you guys have it on your channel.
Why,
Saturdays
yes.
at
In
3.
fact, it comes on right after Svengoolie, which is on at 1 on Saturdays.
She Spies.
You've
Big
got it
fan.
right on
Big
there.
fan of it. I can tell you all about it. Anyway, but you're doing what I consider when Fraser Thomas, Ray Rayner, Bob Bell, when they used to do this stuff over at WGN, and now there's nothing like that anymore. I mean, everything that's local television is either on PBS or it's under the umbrella of news or on Channel 26.
Right. Well, that's very true. A lot of stations now, or it's the latest incarnation of some sort of Wild Chicago ripoff or something like that, and that's about it. There are very few local entertainment shows that are being done, and fortunately the guy who's in charge of our station, Neil Sabin, is a firm believer. He grew up like you and me watching the stuff here in Chicago and watching the things on Channel 9 and 32, and has a very high regard for them, and he said if I'm ever really in charge of a station, that's the kind of stuff I want to do. I want to maintain that local flavor to everything, and that's why I'm there now. This is the longest job I've ever had in my life, seriously.
Well, I'm really thankful. I mean, because like I said, I followed you, and they bumped you around for a little while with Svengoolie too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And now it's what, 1 o'clock on Saturdays?
1 o'clock on Saturdays with the possibility of moving in the fall, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we've moved a few times, but the whole idea of it isn't, because they didn't care. It was because they were looking for a time slot that would work. With so many more choices now for TV viewers, the stuff that used to work doesn't always work. I mean, everybody says, well, you should be on at this time or that time, and we've tried a lot of different times, and it's like it catches on, and then people counter-program. What a surprise. And it gets tougher, but we've been doing okay.
My wife, she was born here, but she grew up in Michigan, and she said that she remembered watching Bozo, and they had a local Bozo where she was, and then I was surprised to find out about that, and then I found out there was Bozos everywhere. Is there Svengoolies everywhere? And if not, can we start that? Let's start with nationwide of Svengoolies.
Let's say no and no. Well, I ran in other cities when I was son of Svengoolie. I ran in Detroit and San Francisco,
But you
Philadelphia.
were literally running in those cities because they were after you.
They were chasing me, and by God, when they've got chickens, I run. And we just ran for like a year in all those other cities, sometimes a little less. And there are other horror hosts, certainly, all over the country, and always have been since they started back in the 50s. And now there's a lot of them on cable access. You find them all over the place.
Right.
And but there are no other Svengoolies at this point. And we've kind of agreed that the line will stop with me.
Okay.
There will be no more after me. So enjoy it while you can, kids.
Now let's talk about your Stooge-a-palooza. This is a new show that just started last week. In fact, I got to see it. It was fabulous. Where's the guys? I mean, I have a picture of one of the guys from my producer here. This is his picture. Where are they now?
Where are they now? Well, I believe they're mostly dead. They made it to about the early 70s, and then those remaining ones kind of said,
How many Stooges were there? Were there 6?
Yeah, I think altogether there were. There was Moe, Larry, Curly, Shemp, Joe Besser, Curly Joe Dorita, and that was about it.
And now there's Stooge Koz.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I got to work on the haircut a little bit, but...
Describe what you do on that show. What's the unique, other than just playing the Stooges? I mean,
Well, yeah, a lot of people these days, they have a syndicated package, which is one Stooge short every day, and it's broken up into a lot of pieces and interrupted.
Right.
What we do is we run 5 of them every week. We run them in their entirety, uncut, without interruption, and then I'm on one end or the other of them, just kind of doing shtick and giving information about the stuff. We're going to have some celebrity Stooge fan guests. We go out on the street and talk to people. Our last topic was whether men really love the Stooges and women hate them, if that's the truth, since that's the theory. And we found out that over 60% of the women we talked to like the Stooges.
I was going to say, my wife is a big fan of Stooges. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I watch it in reruns and everything like that.
Sure.
Well, I didn't think you saw it in the first run.
Yeah.
No.
First run would have been about 1930 something. So even I wasn't here then.
And they weren't all that popular, weren't they? When I mean, they were kind of mediocre, but not like they are now.
Oh, no. They really got their hottest popularity when they hit TV in the 50s and ran on, here in Chicago, they ran on Channel 9.
Right.
And it was like a huge avalanche. They were just astounded at how much people took to them. And now, even so, I mean, I think now they'd be amazed at all the merchandise and still the fact that they're much more revered. You know, when I was growing up, at first it was cool to just like Laurel and Hardy. Then it was cool to like the Marx Brothers. And then it got to the point where, you know, people actually appreciated what the Stooges did. And that's continuing on now.
Excellent. And what do you watch? What do you like to watch?
What do I like to watch?
Besides Nude Hippo, your Chicago.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Every Thursday.
And every Thursday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of access stuff just to see what people are doing. I like to watch comedy shows when they're well done and they aren't the typical just formatted things.
Right.
I miss SCTV. That was always my favorite TV show. I watch Saturday Night Live on and off.
Yeah.
Don't really.
I have to say, Saturday Night Live, we used to go up against Saturday Night Live, and we kicked their butt, let me tell you.
See that?
But one thing I have to say, I think they're a good half-an-hour show. If they could condense that down to a half an hour, you got a good quality program.
And not, you know, just because a character works once, turn it into a running gag that you do a million times.
Exactly.
Like, that's the easy way, I think. Like saying Berwyn all the time.
Yeah, or throwing rubber chickens. I have to tell you one more thing. When I told the people here that you were coming, they went, "Is he coming dressed as Svengoolie?" I went, "Now that would be a sight, now wouldn't it?"
Someday we'll do that.
All
I promise
right.
you. You know, I'll try my best.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Rich.
Oh,
and
nice
when can
to
they
see
see
you.
you? Stooge-a-palooza's Saturdays at 7?
Saturday nights at 7, 2 full hours on WCIU. And Svengoolie, he's on at 1 o'clock on Saturdays on WCIU.
And if you're looking for a little education, weekdays 23.
You got the homework show on
3:30?
Channel 23 and Saturday mornings at 7, and I might just show up on there, but I won't look like
And
this.
if you're listening carefully, you might hear you in an auto insurance commercial here.
Yeah, that and or with the Lucy stuff on Sunday afternoons at the end going, "Did you know Fred Mertz was really drunk?" It's all part of the fun.
All right. There's more to come right here on Nude Hippo, your Chicago show. Thanks, Rich.
The big world fat ass world hippie show is the worst pathetic piece of shit I've ever seen. You guys are the most untalented that have ever been on television. You guys suck. Get the off TV.
You've got something to say to us, then do it, and do it now. We may read your response on a future broadcast. Just email us at feedback@nudehippo.com or just visit us on the web at www.nudehippo.com. There's more to come, so stick around.